So I wanted to do a quick video to help people understand what may be going on in the local Sacramento market, county by county. So the trends for last month just came out. Now, keep in mind, March sales are actually a reflection of January and February. So many of those closings were put under contract in January and February. It has nothing to do with the post-coronavirus sales numbers, but some of those homes did indeed go under contract in March and close. So it's interesting to see what's going on in the market. We saw pending sales. So to describe what this is, the light green are active homes for sale. The dark green are properties that closed and recorded, the escrow recorded. And then the red line are the accepted offers or pending. So the way I describe it is going to be active supply is light green, demand is red, closings are just a product of pending sales. And if you start to see a big gap between pendings and closings, that just means that homes are falling out of contract and that pendings are actually outpacing sales. So if you compare it to last year in March, there were 1,400 pending sales. This year in March in Sacramento County, there were 1,200 pending sales. So I didn't figure out what that exact equation was, but somewhere around 20% less pendings. If you look into April, it's much different. There are 40% less pending sales year over year. And we're just starting to see this plateau of demand versus what is typical in our market as we come into spring. Month over month gains in pending sales, also inventory. Inventory is heavily weighed down. A lot of people are deciding not to put their homes on the market. But if you look at just the general charting, it looks to be a healthy percentage of the homes coming on the market are actually going under contract. The interesting thing for March was this does not reflect all the homes that came off the market, right? So there's a big percentage of homes that actually came off of the market and are on hold. So it will be, only time will tell if those homes come back on the market. If we were to look at other areas, so let's look at El Dorado County, right? Or actually, this is going to all combine. Combined, there were about 2,600 homes for sale, 1,800 pendings, similar trend line, homes going under contract or plateauing. There's still a healthy amount of them because you got to think that buyers, when they decide to go buy a home, that decision is not made in February or March. These people have been saving typically for 1 to 2 years, and they're emotionally attached to the process. It's pretty hard to shake them of that unless they lose a job or something along those lines. So many of the pendings for February, March, and even probably for April were already decided, people that had decided that they wanted to move. So the interesting factor is inventory is half as what it was last year, which is a great sign if demand stays where it is. Now, you would have to think that demand is going to be down for sure, because ultimately there's going to be some people who lose jobs, lose income, lower income, but will active supply being so low actually make up for that balance of missing demand? I think so. In April, we're starting to see that and feel that. At the higher price ranges, we might see something a little bit different. But if you just look at the graphs and charts year over year, the number of homes for sales is down 24%. Year over year, sales are down almost 1%, right? And then pending sales are down around 5% year over year. Month over month, though, is really interesting. So month over month versus the previous year's month. So March 2019 versus March 2020, active inventory is down 25%. Pending sales are down 16%, what is usual in March, and solds are down 8.2%. This is the whole region, right? So When you break down county by county, it looks very similar. To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of change unless you go into El Dorado County, which tends to be higher price point, right? So if we look at this, let's just look at sales over $1 million for the whole Tri-County, which tells an interesting story. Inventory, again, way down. It's being artificially held down by people not wanting to move. And then pending sales staying fairly stable, yet not typical to what it usually is in normal March environment. So we go month over month versus the previous year. Inventory down 21.5%, over $1 million. Solds down 33%. Pending sales down 30.2%. So that 30% reduction in pendings is going to show up in April. And I would think that April, May, June, you're going to see that lag in pending sales because there's not a lot of new fresh buyers jumping into the market that are now making that decision to make the move. And especially at the higher price points, there's a lot of contingent moves there too. So if they're keeping their homes off the market, they're not able to make that jump. I just wanted to explain real time what's happening in the marketplace. And it's important to know and look back to what the stats tell us, but the market and values and pricing and buyer demand really is about what's going on today. And we're currently in the MLS, right? And so you can look to, I'll show you guys a quick preview. Of course, the agents on this are going to know what I'm looking at, but what we look at is simply a 24-hour snapshot. Every day, we're checking new listings on the market, homes coming back on the market, which would be falling out of contract and then relisting. This number has been extremely high compared to what it is usually for the last 3 weeks. So a net number of new listings is somewhere around, let's just call it 120 new listings, because 66 of those were already listings at some point, if that makes any sense. Price reductions at 99 is actually above usual. I think that there's always a certain percentage of homes that are priced too high. And so we're starting to see being priced correctly become very important, right? Buyers are still motivated, but if it's not priced within market value, they're just not coming. You know, why would they put themselves at risk if it's not priced within market value? 24-hour market snapshot of the whole region, 245 active listings, 102 went under contract, 46 went pending bring backup. That is lower than it has been for the last month, that's for sure. So we were averaging somewhere around 160, let's just say 150 to 200 pendings per day 2 weeks ago. So we're starting to see that trend line, less and less pendings. And personally, I feel most of that is because there's just not a whole lot of inventory. When a good property comes on the market, we're getting showings and we're getting offers for sure. The big story is homes coming off the market. We saw somewhere around 1,000 properties come off the market in the last month, which is a lot. You know, you might see 4 or 5 a day being canceled or withdrawn or put on hold, but we're averaging somewhere around 50 to 60 per day, and those are sellers who are deciding now is not the right time or something changed in their motivation. So the 3 key factors that we're seeing in April: supply issues, not a lot of inventory; demand issues, less demand, of course, because buyers are afraid to go out, or they've lost a job or income, or they're just not sure. But the beauty of that is the percentage of listings that are down almost matches the percentage of pendings that are down. So we haven't seen any rapid changes in price, but price is a reflection of the future. You don't see price changes or values coming down right away. But the moral of the story is there's still demand, there's less supply. So any reduction in demand in the future hopefully will be chewed up by less inventory, which we already had an inventory challenge. So average days on market is up by around 8 to 10 days, depending on what market you're looking in. So it does take a little bit longer. That's a product of accessibility issues. So all in all, we're starting to see the impact daily of the coronavirus shutdown, and we're seeing there's fewer homes for sale than we've seen ever, I think. I mean, I haven't looked back a decade, but the good news is that those median home prices in Sacramento, that let's just say 300 to 600, the market is still in a sweet spot, still moving pretty good. No crazy changes that we've been seeing, but I don't want to paint a rosy picture either, because it's definitely not a good market by any means. It's not. I wouldn't tell someone in today's market that we're in this massive seller's market, because that's not the case. You can sell your home quickly if it's priced well, presented well, easily accessible. But if you have 5 people in your home, it may not be the best time to list your house, right? Because we're all sheltering in place. There's a lot of risk to exposure. I just want to put this short video together with real-time data to make sure that you know what's happening in our local market.